of life, and you know the hail, if you will, the healthy life expectancy, or the fact that we may only live to 74, 75 or 76. It goes beyond that, because there are choices that we can all make in our lives, and some of these choices are: who do we want our friends to be? Do we value the friendships? I came from a career that I was involved with people all day long, every single day. I worked with people, whether it was customers, whether it was other organizations that interacted with my company, or whether it was even some of my coworkers, my team. We were with people every single day, day in, day out. And while I really enjoyed the work early on, as time went on, you find it becomes taxing, wears you out. You get home at the end of the day, and you just feel beat down quite often, maybe not so much physically, certainly emotionally, mentally. A lot of times it just takes a toll. So you realize as time goes on, and as we get a little older and later in our career, we become a little less tolerant, a little less accepting for those nuances or those deviations, or possibly people that aren't supporting the team or pulling their weight. We just seem to be a little less tolerant. We know our days are numbered. We know those friends that we're hearing about all of a sudden fell ill. And those little birdies, as I call them, those little birdies sit there on our shoulder and whisper in our ears and tell us, wait a minute, this person's not adding any value. They're not supporting you in any single way. And for those of you who know, welcome back to the hustle and welcome back to the grind, everybody. Today, we've got another beverage. And again, it's not quite such a beautiful day, but it is what it is. The sun's kind of shining. It's poking its head through. And we're sort of walking with the wind, 'cause there is a brisk wind out here this morning, too. But really, coming from an electrical background, as a lot of you are aware, I do have that electrical knowledge. And I'm going to drop a little widget here. So, I think of friends as sort of related to the electrical system, as it were. I'm the battery. You either charge me up or you drain me down. I have some friends that are battery chargers. They always keep me on high charge, whether it's on a high charge or whether it's just float charge. The bottom line is they're always keeping me going, whether it's through phone calls, being supportive in great conversations, being there when you need. You reach out with a phone call. Hey, I need to talk. Let's go have a coffee. And they're there for you. They're willing to help out where you can. And when going gets tough, the tough get going. And you know that they've got your back. And you'll do the same for them. But then there's those other people. If I'm the battery, and could you imagine wiring up a big bright big light bulb, soon as you connect that up to my battery, all of a sudden the battery drains. It drains it out of you. And see, I like to use that analogy because either you're a battery charger or you're a giant wattage light bulb. And the white light bulb is one of those types of people that generally just sap it out of you. No matter what you do, they're draining the energy out of you, and they're draining any kind of life structure out of you. They're not helping you in any way. And leaving a conversation with some of these people quite often leave you feeling quite drained. It's a sad state, but the sooner you realize that, the sooner you can filter out all the noise in your life and move on to bigger and better things. It's like that airplane conversation. You can't help others unless you're in good estate. But if I'm a drained battery because of all these people draining me because they were a bunch of large light bulbs, well, now I'm not in good state. And the next light bulb that really needs my hand, because that's the light bulb to navigate your way through life, all of a sudden that light bulb doesn't work because my battery is so drained. You get that there's a limited amount of energy in this world. Coming from electrical, I can relate absolutely to what energy means and what it feels like. So, the bottom line is friendship. What really is it, and do I in fact not have any friends? Well, that's I do have some friends. Absolutely. But they're not the friends that we once knew. They're very selective. There's choices. I mean, a lot of the friends that I know, unfortunately, have moved away and, in some cases they're just distant because of, family circumstances, jobs. They've had to move away. We all have our lives, our priorities, and for them that's their version of taking on that oxygen mask, because now they're supporting themselves. And that's totally recognizable. But those few people that have moved on and have had to look at their own priorities and their own lives, they did it for that reason. They've looked after themselves and their families. And I can definitely appreciate that. But quite honestly, what you're dealing with is you're either going to be in that space, the person that's always willing to take one for the team, or you're not. And as we get older, as we age, as you move on to you being by the time you get up to my age and, being 55, you start to recognize the differences between the battery chargers and the high wattage light bulbs. Because when you're young, it all just seems the same. Everybody's laughing and cheering and having a good time and sharing stories. But when things get real, and they do sometimes, for example, I think about, when my parents were ill, I start recognizing who those people were who showed up at my mom's bedside or came out to visit my dad from time to time. I know who those people are. And that to me speaks volumes about who the friends are and who the friends aren't. Because in time of need, when you need somebody there by your side to actually show some support and solidarity, or just be there for hold a helping hand and offer up a little bit of extra cheer. And if that person's not there, when they've been there every other time to sort of take from you in some way, whether it's advice, whether it's money, hey, you got an extra $200. I need a couple $100. I'll slide you some cash next week. You never ever lend money to a friend because a friend, if they need it, you're just going to do it for them. And coincidentally, the other way around. The expectation isn't payback. The expectation is just, look, I hope you're doing better and I hope this $200 helps you out, because there is a reality, and the reality is what I'm starting to find as we age and we get up there, you're starting to see there are more people, far more people that just really could not be bothered. I mean, everybody's got their priorities in life, and as I've said, you've got to take care of yourself before you can take care of anybody else, so that is just something we all live with, and that's totally fine. The real question is, how do I feel about not having friends again? I have acquaintances. I have people that I chat with. But true friends, push come to shove when stuff gets real. Do I have friends? Well, I probably have one or two that I can really name, which I won't name right now. I do. There are a couple of friends, but large in part the fact I want to mention is most of these people in your lives are not friends. Most of them are simply acquaintances. And while it's fun to talk and it's fun to meet up with these people, that doesn't mean they're not friendly. It doesn't mean you don't enjoy hanging around. Again, most people are going to prioritize their own issues, their own lives, as many times they should. But I want to share a little quick story here for you. You see, back quite a few years ago, we were building we have this little cabin way out in the woods, okay, and I was working on that little cabin, and this goes back about 12 years ago or thereabouts. And and I was reaching out because I needed a little bit of